and girls. My name is Thorsten Schneider. I am a lawyer working in family law and other respective areas of law in Germany. Also, I am a solo dad of a 6-year-old boy. He's living always 1 week with me and then 1 week with his mom. And both of us decided that we want to do a YouTube channel, and this will be my first video. So I'm starting with a little introduction for myself. As I already mentioned, my name is Thorsten Schneider and I am 35 years old. I am the owner of the law firm Schneider Rechtsanwälte in Kassel, Germany, since 4 years now, and we have 5 people working here. And the purpose of this video today will be to talk about a topic which is very important to me because I am, as I said, working in the area of family law, and in my professional experience I experience a lot of family law related issues in partnerships, marriages and so on. Because I also have a 6-year-old boy and I am separated with his mom since he is 1 year old, it's very important to me to talk about parenting and how to deal with such kind of situations, on the one hand legally, but on the other side like emotionally, personally. Because I think it's very important that we speak about these issues and talk about how we as a society want to deal with these kind of situations on the legal hand on the one side, and as well on the side which is personal to each and everyone. And because I realize that there are not so many partnerships which are going to break or to get separated, no matter if it's just a partnership or a marriage, which then thereafter still provides enough emotional support for the children which might have come out of those partnerships. I want to talk about that because the people need support in this, as far as I can see, and especially the kids need an advocate, because they do not have anyone besides their parents usually who takes care of them. And if the parents are not so much taking care of them anymore because they might not love each other, it is very crucial to find a way how to support each other and deal with each other, no matter the fact that the partnership got separated. And this yields great benefits for all of us, because in the end all of us have to deal with the other people living in our societies. And if we have defected people because they were abused or because they are behaving abusively towards others, it might come to the point that you encounter such a person who is not able to have a stable relationship, who is abusing you or one of your loved ones. And that's not because the people are bad from their hearts in my experience. Mostly it's because they have made bad experiences in the past. They are still affected by these experiences, maybe because their parents separated and they did not know how to deal with the separation properly. And because of this, they loaded a lot of grief and disharmony and everything on their children, for example. And they take this burden with them until they mature and grow up, and they might not even recognize it so much on their own, but it deals or takes a great part in how they behave in society towards other people. So that's why I think it's very important to talk about scientific results or scientific developments which have been made in that area in the past years. And also I want to like spice it up with my own experience, which might of course not be true for anyone, but it could be inspiring or could be helpful for someone out there, because at least in my case, this model of like really shared upbringing, no matter that our relationship got separated, is yielding great benefits for my child. You will get to know him in one of the further episodes, because after all, it was his idea to do a YouTube podcast. He wants to talk about things which are more interesting to him, of course, which is like gaming and football and so on and so on. So, yeah, my son was born in 2018. And since his mom and me, we were very much different. We didn't really like plan to get children or a son. I was in the very end of my law studies. It was exactly 1 month before my final exams when my son was born. And we had an age difference of 10 years. We had a very different idea of how to live life and how to go on with life and what are our goals and so on and so on. And this is still true to that day now. And that's why I think after a year or so, we decided to separate from each other. But it was clear to both of us from the beginning that it is very important for our child that he still will see both of his parents regularly. There are different, now we're talking a little bit all about the legal sphere. There are different models in Germany which, or how you can organize a children's life or course of life after the separation of the parents. So with most of them, still to that day, it's the so-called residency model or Residenzmodell, which means like the kid has just one place of residence where he will stay, and the other parent, which then like leaves this place of residence and is going to live somewhere else, he or she will just see the kid regularly. Mostly it's like every second weekend for 2 days, which if you take a month adds up to 4 days a month, and the other parent is like with the kid or dealing with the kid's needs for 26 days a month, which if you do the math just does not come anywhere near to like a model which is like justified in some point between both of the parents. So the kid obviously will have a more, let's say, stable relationship to one of the both parts than to the other, because it just spends or he or she will just spend more time with one of the parents. This also leads to the fact that the parent which is not living with the kid constantly should give financial aid to the other parent, because he or she needs time to take care of the children's needs, and therefore this should be financially compensated. And this is one of the models which are legally present right now. Another one is the so-called Wechselmodell, which means like that you just, or I think you could translate it by change model. So you just change on a weekly or 2-weekly basis, which in essence means your kid will spend 1 week with one parent and then another week with the other parent. There are studies which indicate that this second, so the change or Wechselmodell, that this model will lead to great benefits for the children who are thereby constantly seeing the other parent as well, and not just one of the parents regularly and the other one just occasionally on the weekends. It will lead to children being emotionally more stable. It will lead to children not so much likely to develop an addiction or a psychic disorder. In the Scandinavian countries like Sweden, for example, the change or Wechselmodell is just a regular thing. So that it is like the normal thing to do. If you separate that, the kid will stay 1 week with the dad and then 1 week with the mom. And as I just said, there is also scientific evidence that this leads to benefits for the kid. That is why I am, as a lawyer, constantly, if I am in the mandate with clients and family law, and this is about the separation of a marriage or separation of a partnership where children are taking part in, then I am always advocating for the so-called Wechselmodell, because I see that this really works like a charm. It has only one prerequisite you need, and this is the parents are willing to communicate eye-to-eye level without harassing each other, without talking bad about each other, just in favor of their children. And that's a thing I also want to talk about today, because in my experience, I don't know if people really consciously are doing it, but in my experience, the parents often use the kid to try to hurt the other one, which in their eyes is responsible because he or she left the partnership, the relationship, the marriage, and now why this person should have still the opportunity to spend time with their children. But in my experience, this always leads to, because the children, they recognize this. They might not recognize it because you don't talk it to them eye to eye, or they might not even understand, if they are young, what's going on, but they can feel it from the heart. People are communicating in so many ways besides of just the wordly talk. They're communicating with their energies, with their eyes, with their behaviors as such, and you're saying so much about yourself and about how you are feeling inside of yourself when you are communicating with each other. And the children, they are not dumb at all. Like, they come to, you can really learn a lot from looking at your children while they're growing up, how they learn to speak and how they communicate before they even know any words. They still communicate, and you are also still communicating before you know any words, and even when you got the talk, yeah, then you're still communicating a lot without even using words, which means the children, they're soaking all of that in. And if you are constantly providing them with a negative atmosphere because you think someone else is responsible for your sadness, for your grief, for your anger, then they will also react to that. And mostly they don't react with love, kindness, and all these things which are very much needed in our society, in my belief right now. They are reacting with the same kind of energy they are going to encounter at their homes. So I'm not talking right now about cases where there's an abusive parent or a violent relationship, or there is a relationship which includes a drug addiction or something. That's all things, let's leave them out, because with these cases it's obvious that a person who is a drug addict, for example, really a hard drug addict, not only smoking marijuana once a weekend, but a drug addict cannot deal with the children's needs properly, of course not. So we can leave that out. But if they are two grown up people interacting with each other, it should be very much preferable that they mature to that point where they can leave their feelings towards each other aside, because we just made up a society where it is normal for people to separate. I see so many people separating from marriages, from partnerships, from whatever, but not wanting to take the responsibility, which of course you're free to separate from each other. You are not bound by some iron iron cuffs to each other. Okay, if you do not benefit from dealing with each other, then please separate. But also please deal with the, let's say, consequences, and deal with the outcome of your separation if there are other people involved in your partnership, which is on the first hand kids. Make sure that you are really trying to their best to separate in a harmonious way, because it's not their fault. You are the first people who they get to know when they are getting introduced to life. And if you are a bad example, what do you think will happen to the children who are presented with a bad example? Do you think they develop a habit of behaving nicely, of treating people nice, and so on and so on? Of course you can separate, but you still have to, in my opinion, make sure that you treat your former partner nicely, and you try to make it work for both of you, so there will not be such a harsh and bad situation for one of the former partners. Yeah, now the question is, saying all this, how could you achieve such things? Because I see always people are then afterwards they're just harassing each other, they're hating each other, and I can understand that, of course, because as I just said, my former partner and me, we are very much different, and she even cheated on me before we separated, and so on and so on. So there's just things happening, and at first it is very, very, very good to understand that you are not alone with this. This happens all of the time on our planet, every day. And of course your feelings are unique and you shouldn't neglect them and so on, but still, like, life goes on and life yields so many positive things even if the partnership breaks. Like, I really much believe that you can find so much joy in just yourself and in the things you can do for other people, then you could extract out of any relationship. It's like, why does the relationship separate on the first hand? It's because, like, people are not feeling happy with each other anymore, and that's okay because people change. It's just happening. Why should you, like, we had days in our societies where it was just necessary to stay together because the one was he was so much not addicted, but like he needed the other person for his or her financial situation, because you couldn't just separate because one of them would starve. But at least in Germany, we have so much developed social systems right now. No one has like any no danger of falling dead on the next day, or on somehow having to sleep in the streets or something. You can just separate if your relationship is not benefiting each other. And it's sad, but what I found is that people are just often engaging in relationships because they think they are ought to do, which means, like, by culture they think, yeah, I'm 22 now and I should think about marrying and having a kid and buying a house and so on. Still, they didn't even ask themselves, is this the way I want to live? And then after some years they realize there's something missing, and I don't want that, and so on and so on. And then they try to engage this, and of course then separate, because then you're changing. So what I'm encouraging, I'm not against marriage, I'm not against partnerships and nothing at all. If this is the notion that you got right now, this is completely wrong. I'm just saying, get to know yourself and spend some time with yourself, and maybe have some relationships to people which are going to break before you really decide who is it going to be you want to spend your life with, and why is it this person. So that, because in every relationship there will be really bad and fucked up times. Everyone who knows this and who's married, he or she will agree on that. But you have to find the person and the will in yourself to still engage in that partnership. And that's a partnership which is really, like, in my opinion, a partnership like which is strong enough to survive all of the circumstances which are just happening to you by life. And if you are not legally bound to each other to stay together until death separates, then please look for someone you want to stay with, and you are binding yourself again and again, like every day. Because, like, in essence, that's my opinion, like, things like a marriage, it's just a treaty between people, you know, it's a contract. It's a contract which in essence binds you to another person legally, so you won't run away from each other still, even if you don't like each other anymore. And why should you do such a contract if you are feeling that you want to spend the time you have on this planet with this person until the end of your days? There would be no contract needed at all if you make the other person happy constantly the whole of the time, and you are feeling happy with this person. If this person's just with this person being happy, just to know this person being happy, then there's no need for a contract. And so, in essence, this whole talk today is an inspiration to be a little bit more conscious with your choices on partnerships and things like that, because we need that in our society to not develop psychic disorders, emotionally unstable people, and to provide the kids, our most beloved children, with the right soil, with the right energies, with the right support, so that they can grow up and develop to their best state possible. And that's what I am standing for as a person, but also as a lawyer. And I hope you found this interesting. This is a topic which is very, very much interesting to me. I think I will talk about this all of the time when we will see each other, at least a little bit. So this, it should be for my first video. Leave some comments if you are interested in that topic as well, or if you have questions to any part of this video. If you have any suggestions, you can hit me up if you like, and if you need legal advice, you can also just send a message, and we will see if we can work with each other. In the coming episodes, as I mentioned in the beginning, I will introduce you to my son as well, and to what we are doing, how we are spending our life. There will be some travel content, and yeah, so enjoy your days, have a nice time, love each other, and see you at court. Bye bye.